I'm live. Let's see what we got here. It's been a hot minute since I've gone live, but I'll say hello and chill out for a handful of you guys to jump in. And figured I'd stop in and say what's up because I haven't been posting as much as I normally do. So figure I'd say hello. Good evening, Lakeland, Florida. Enjoy your hurricane, buddies. Hopefully, we'll see a little bit more rain up here. It's been, I put it in slow mode. Yes, slow mode is so you have to wait 30 seconds between comments so people can't just type right or like the same thing over and over again and effectively pollute the feed. But been a minute. Happy Taco Tuesday. It's I believe it's Lucky Lopez's birthday. They're doing a Taco Tuesday birthday for him in Vegas. Couldn't make it out to there. Las Vegas, Nevada. I am on my way. We're doing an adventure drives in July, or I'm sorry, in 3 or 4 weeks. So September 20th, 24th. I'll be doing a giveaway for that as well for anyone who wants to partake in that fun game and that fun experience. But that starts in Napa Valley for 2 nights, and then we go through Yosemite, over to Mammoth Lakes, and then down to Vegas to party for the night. So that'll be a good time. So I will be in Vegas. The Italy trip. So here's my year. I've been tied up, and I think I'm going to do a like a day in the life video, just so you don't think I'm very lazy and don't make YouTube videos. I mean, there's probably a component to that, but I've had a lot of travel, a lot of logistics, and then a lot of different things that I'm working on, which consume a tremendous amount of time. So that sort of takes away from me being able to like do fun things to make content and just the process of editing and I've got probably 10 videos that I've shot that I haven't even had time to edit because they're a little bit more complex than me talking about Hertz or something like that. And that was something that's sort of holding me back from making the videos because I don't want to stick out something that's like slapped together. I'd rather do it right. I started working with this editing company. They were overseas. They edited the tank video, which obviously tanks and guns, anything you put on YouTube won't do well. But I thought it was a very well done video because I shot that years ago. And I finally, like, they're like, yeah, we'll edit the video for free. I'm like, oh, yeah, take this one. And they did a pretty good job. But the problem now is that we're working through like Trello and then they send over a link for me to review after they stitch it together. And I spend more time for a video that should be like 12 minutes. They edit it to 20 minutes and then I have to watch it and give feedback. And then they change it again. They don't nail it again. So I'm spending like 20 minutes, 18 minutes, 16 minutes watching it. And then I'm touching it up myself. So the amount of time I'm putting into it is actually almost taking more time than me just editing it myself. So that's not really working out so well. So we're trying to dial that in, but there's a lot of effort that goes into that. Lawsuits, got a handful of those. Those take up a lot of time dealing with lawyers. I've got a mediation tomorrow, so I got to go deal with that. I've had a good amount of travel. Adventure Drive is a lot of fun. I got Patrick won the trip, the giveaway trip I did with the posters. Even the posters were a pain in the ass. But we'll talk about Patrick in a second. The posters being a pain in the ass. I had like 84 labels were refunded. I'm like, what do you mean 84? Like, why like I didn't get 84 back. I got 20 back from like undeliverable or whatever. Shipping international, I'm just going to stop shipping international because I'm the guy that I charge a flat $5 for shipping. And I was shipping these posters internationally, and like it's like some of them are like $30 or $40 to ship it to whatever, like Estonia or something. And the way the customs works and everything like that is some people, like the guys, like, look, it got here. They wanted to charge me the equivalent of $80 US as a tariff on top of that. So this guy spends $35 on a poster. I spend $30 or $40 to ship it to him, right? So like I make nothing. If anything, it costs me money, or like it's like completely like here you're giving me 40. If I've got these posters and somebody wants it, I don't want to be like, you know what, I'm not making enough money here, I'm not going to do it. I'd rather just give you the poster. So even if I lost a couple of bucks, where it bites me in the ass is when I ship a poster to somebody, spend $40 on a $35 purchase. Then the guys will go, never got my poster. And I'm like, well, now what do I do? Because now I'm going to refund you. I've spent the $40. So now you're costing me $75 to not get a poster. And you're like annoyed that you didn't get a poster. So anything international now from now on, I think I'm just going to like write off and just do digital. Like, you know what, you can, here's the file. You can print your own poster. And forget about the signature part of it. But like, I get people want to enter these giveaways and it's fun. But like now dealing with the fact that almost a fourth or like a fifth of the posters or whatever, like 18% of the posters may be lost, that like 84 of them didn't make it to where they were going is really annoying. So now it's like, do we make a case with the post office? They're going to be like, oh, I look at the tracking numbers and shows are not trackable. What do you do? So sort of sucks, but it is what it is. Let's see what we got. Patrick, the guy who won the Italy trip, had a great time. He got a BMW I rented for him, and there's an M440 or something like that. But it's nice looking in the rearview mirror and saying, like, you don't know what somebody's driving level is or skill level is. But to look in the rearview mirror and see him like up with the cars and everything like that was a lot of fun. He had the time of his life. I'm going to do a Italy summary video, just summarizing the trip, throwing some highlights. I was at Stelvio Pass. I did shoot a video at Stelvio Pass, so I'll be putting that up. But I didn't like film the trip like David or anyone would vlog the trip. I didn't go to that extent. I was too busy like running the trip, so to speak. Trailer update. I don't know. The trailer update, you've seen as much updating as there is to do. I had the trailer itself. I identified the truck. I handed it off to the cops, and then the cops just didn't even respond back to me. So like at that point in time, for an $8,000 trailer, I'm not going to turn it into my life's mission. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like it's nice to find things. It's nice to recover things. It makes a good story to recover things. But shame on me for not having my tracking installed and leaving it without securing it. I guess. I mean, I don't know what to do. My tracking should have been on there. It wasn't. Now I'm out of trailer. So it sucks. And do I want, like, it just, all trailers seem to get stolen, right? So like, it doesn't even really make sense for me to buy more. That's why I just got another truck. But I've got 3 ramp trucks, and I'm going to actually start renting the ramp trucks. Am I getting old? Like, the typing looks so small. Maybe you're a little further away than I'm normally sitting. But I'm going to start doing the ramp trucks fairly soon. There should be the other 2 chassis that I have should be starting in like September, October. So come November, I'll have 3 of them. The Speed Force one that I listed for sale, sold. Guy didn't pay. The backup guy, oh, sorry, that didn't partner I was going in on it with flaked. So then I go to the second buyer, doesn't even respond. So now I'm sitting on that thing again. So I'm going to put that back up for sale, but I'm sure somebody is going to wise up and buy that and get it off my lot. So I got some more space. Donk, got to get rid of that donk. It's like now in front of my shop. And that, I don't know, I thought I was going to like novelty that thing and drive it more. And I had this idea of like wrapping it in like yellow marshmallow peeps and putting like peep this on the side. Then I just realized it was so crappy to drive. I'm probably not going to waste my time doing that. What am I drinking tonight? This, I would say, is Whistle Pig. It is not. I have not had my first sip yet. This is a Johnny Walker Blue Label with a LG ice cube from my fridge, like one of the big whiskey balls. But we can say it could be that, or it could just be apple juice. So we'll say apple juice because that's. Okay. Are you enjoying your heated floors? Of course, but it's summertime, so they haven't been on all for months. I'm doing my little homeowner battles. Homeowner battle this week was my well, and last month I got my electric bill, and I'm like, wow, like I was traveling. Why is my electric bill almost $700? That's very uncharacteristic. Even with two Teslas charging pretty much full time in my driveway, um, I think 350 is like a big bill for me. It's usually like anywhere between like 175 and like 350. So to get like a 650, I'm like, what is my wife doing? Is she like breeding penguins here or something like that? There's something going on. Then my sprinkler stopped working like 10 days ago. And I'm like, the pump may have an issue, or it's an electrical issue. So I went and hit the breaker a couple of times. Every time I hit the breaker, it would instantly trip. It turns out the pump seized up, and I think I just had that pump like full bore from the moment I plugged it in for the month that it worked, or whatever, 6 weeks that it was working, and I think I just burned it out. So I think um, that may be the reason for the electric bill. We'll find out, because once it burns out, it's not running. So if I see a significant decrease in my electric bill, yay. But I can't imagine my electric bill would have spiked that much just from my wife running the air conditioning, because like we've never put the air conditioning in check ever. Like it's not like, oh, you're running it too much, or like it's a very efficient house. It's all spray foam throughout, expensive windows, like everything is like sealed pretty well. And it's not like we're doing parties every day where the doors and windows are open and we have the AC pumping. But even when I was doing construction, I would run the AC and we didn't even have a front door, and I would just leave the stuff pumping all day so the guys were comfortable. I don't ever remember anything equivalent to that sort of bill. So we'll see. Maybe it was that pump. I don't know. I can't imagine it takes that much amperage, but if you got something running full charge, $300, could be. Could be a delta. Maybe it was $200 in additional electric. Ideally, that's the problem. You can't really tell unless you put like meters on all the lines what is chewing through it. Such is life, right? But it was uncharacteristic, and it's nice to be able to identify things that are not working properly. Evo update. The Evo is out at Moe's in Long Island. Moe is finishing up my Supra, or at least should be finishing up my Supra, my twin turbo one. My other one is just sitting in my shop, up on a lift, collecting dust like it's been doing the last 15 years. So, and I said when I build this other one, I'll be happy to sell my 98. I'm happy to sell my 98. I'm just too lazy to list it. And I just went on NSX Prime today because somebody was, I don't remember what I was looking for, but something popped up and I was like, oh, well, look at that. Like, let me go on NSX Prime and I'll list, there's still active people here. Let me list some of these NSX parts, because I've got so many parts and I just collect them. And I shipped pallets worth of stuff out to Fur Parts. I got ripped off by some guy in Vegas for a couple of like Lambo motors and transmissions and stuff like that. But this was just like, then I went out and bought the stuff from the place that went out of business in Chicago. So I bought that van, which I ultimately couldn't put on Turo. So I ended up selling to my, the guy who does my HVAC. And then now I've got all those parts that I bought that I still haven't listed. So when I get those listed, I want to just make space. Like I'm in the mood to like call it a midlife crisis. I just want to clean everything. I want open floors. I'll fill it all back up, but I want to just clean the stuff out. I've got a little bit too much crap lying around, and I'm never going to use it, right? I've got the factory brakes from an SLR McLaren. I've got the factory brakes from my NSX. I'm never going to use these things. So they're just taking up space. So we'll get rid of that stuff, free up space, and then who knows what the hell's next. So I'm going to sell my F8 too, probably in October. So if I get rid of the F8 and so here's where I want to be, right? I want to get rid of the 360, want to get rid of the F8, and then so two of the Ferraris are going to go. I'll keep the 458, get rid of the F8, get rid of the 360, get rid of the one Supra, the 98, and I want to get a GT3, possibly a Technica, but definitely a Ford GT is probably going to be the first one, like an 05, 06 white blue stripe Ford GT, not the one that just crashed. I'm not buying that. I'm going to buy the Ford GT. I'm going to buy a GT3 and then a Lambo, and I think I'm pretty good. I've got the Z06 that I'm going to be getting. My other Z06 is having a little bit of a tough time right now, but then I'll have Corvette, Supra, NSX, GT3, Ford GT, Lambo, mini truck, Teslas, stuff like that. But I think that's a pretty well-rounded garage full of cars. I regret selling some of them, but only because they went up in value, but not ultimately. Like my Viper ACR I thought looked cool. My Cobra R I thought looked cool. Neither of them were that great to drive. The GT3 I loved, but I think I got out of it at the right time. Those cars, again, I got those cars all effectively ownership free because I was able to drive them for free. Let's see what we got here. We got Patel Philippe. Am I just getting older though? Let me brighten this up a little bit. Rob, what's the best way to eat one's spaghetti? And you know what? I was just in Italy, so that's a fair question. A lot of people use a spoon, right? Take a spoon, take the fork, twirl it up, pop it right in. So it's a good start. But you know, with food, with like, it's like when I tell people like, oh, how do I enjoy whiskey? How do I enjoy food? However you want. Like life's too short to like worry about this is the right way to do it. Oh, you're drinking that wrong. Oh, you don't like this whiskey? Like you like your whiskey with ice, put ice in it. Like you like your whiskey, you don't like whiskey, don't drink it. Like it's everybody's way too caught up in judging other people and how they do things. Just be a nice person, enjoy it. You want to chew your mouth open? Just sort of look in the other direction and do it by yourself. So hope that answers that. Adventure drives, let's see. We've got, hey Rob, Adventure Drives alum checking in. Tell us about Italy. So I talked about, now I see Nick here too. I was talking about Italy. Italy was great. I just put together the schedule. I don't think we sent out the email yet, but I'll tell you what the next Adventure Drive schedule is looking like. We've got the Italy trip. And today, obviously, this is a little shout out to Real Living Markets. Let's say it's our live stream sponsor, but they do CBD stuff, so that's why you're chilling with Rob. CBD, right? For those of you who do CBD, give them a shot. I love supporting like family businesses, and they're a family business. They don't let me talk about their steaks, but they have like grass-fed, like home killed meat. But you have to be like just outside of Chicago, and you got to pick that up. So they're like, don't advertise that because we can't ship it. And I was like, can't even ship some to me? No, but I got CBD. And I'm not as old as, or not as young as I once was. I was playing tennis with my wife and our mutual friend the other day, and I was charging towards the net because it was a short ball. And I was like, I hit the ball, but then I was like, now I'm either going to run into the net or I'm not going to like try to like hockey stop myself. So I was like, oh, like this is familiar. I'll just jump over the net, right? Because that's what I used to do. Like when I was in high school, I mean, I used to run cross country, but I jumped over like a picnic table, you know, the picnic table with the tabletop and then the benches on the side, clear over, like jump, like, so I can turtle, I could do that. Jumping over a tennis net, easy. Jumped and I'm like, and I'm like, wait a second, I'm older than I thought I was. And then like I like hesitated and the one leg cleared, the other leg like landed on the net. Like it was probably silly to watch, but I got halfway over. I did not fall, but I got halfway over. But it was a good time. So anyway, not as old. So I took they have the CBD rub, which when like you don't think it's gonna hurt, but then you feel it, and you're like, that's gonna hurt later. CBD rub made it better. We got here. Cars or something said, do I regret selling the LP640? I don't. I knew I needed the money for something else. And I don't remember what I was putting it into at the time, but I don't regret selling it. But I did know for sure that I was going to be selling it too cheap. And I think I got like $135,000 for it or something right now, or for at the time. And now every one of you here is like, I would spend $135 in an LP640. I called that at the time that these cars were going to be 200 plus. I don't know what the hell it's worth now, but it's worth a hell of a lot more than I sold it for. But to sit on something for an untold amount of time, the markets did sort of shoot up, but I didn't really expect it. Like, look, it's my GT3, my AMG, my GT3, my 458 as a rental car, my Viper ACR, all these cars went up significantly. My Cobra R even sold significantly higher. So I can't really say I'm upset that I got rid of it, but because like it was a fun car, it sounded cool, it looked cool, the doors went up, but at the end of the day, like it's not really my speed. I'm not like the big doors up Lambo guy. If I was going to own one, it would be like I've got sentimental value to like a Diablo, or like the first Lambo I drove was the 50th anniversary Murcielago, or 45th, whatever the hell it was. That would have been more 40th anniversary, I think. That would have been more my speed, which is like the teal green one. I think Stradman has one. But that's where I'm at. The Italy trip, just to jump back to the original train of thought, Italy was awesome. We started and ended in Rome. Italy, I feel like everybody in my Instagram feed, everybody that I know has gone to Italy this year. I don't know. I mean, their economy is probably booming. We started and ended in Rome. It was very hot when we were there. And it was good. You'll see that's actually my profile, or whatever, my title card picture for this live chat is my staff, or some of my staff from Italy. That was the final night on the rooftop of the Intercontinental in Rome. I was just buying drinks for people, and they were all up there like celebrating it. Job well done, obviously. You'll see Mateus did luggage there. Lisa was go ahead with Jazzy, who's Tiara's one of her younger sisters. And then we had, who else was in that photo? I don't remember. Lisa, Mateus, Jazzy. Marina was not pictured. I feel like there's someone else in that photo. Lisa. Anyway, now I feel like an ass for forgetting who was working the trip. Yeah. So, but we had a good time. Now I gotta look that up. How do I see? I'm gonna see if I should. You should still see me. Let's see here. This is just me making sure I'm not forgetting somebody who I've already forgotten. And I didn't do it on purpose. Content. Live, done live right there. There it is. Oh, Oksana. Oksana's a sweetheart. I'm sorry, that's what I forgot. Oksana lives in Germany, and Oksana is she's worked probably every one of our international adventure drives, so she's terrific. Getting married soon, so congratulations to her. But I figured I was looking for a picture for a thumbnail for this, and I'm like, let me have a reason to talk about everybody and how great they were on the trip. And then we have Marina, who was not pictured in that photo. She was over having a drink somewhere else, and she was also terrific. And then we had a Ryan, a photographer. His name was Ryan, also fantastic. Took a whole bunch of photos. He's from, I believe it's Peanut Productions or Peanut Media. So the trip, as I said, started and ended in Rome. It was hotter than I was expecting it to be, and I took my luggage with me, but which is my custom luggage for those of you who are not familiar with it. And I brought let's just say like it was I think I was there for 9 nights. So I brought, instead of 10 changes of clothes, I brought 14. And come the end of the trip, with like a day left, I was like running out of clothes. And it's because it was that hot in like central Italy where we were in Rome. I legitimately changed like 3 times a day. Like I'd shower, change, sweat again, then it's time for dinner. Shower, change. Had happened there. From Rome, we went to Tuscany for lunch. So we had a nice lunch at a vineyard. From there, we went to Florence. We had a lovely dinner in Florence, a little warmer than I recalled previous times, but food was good. People were good. And we went from Florence then to Modena and Bologna and Sant'Agata. So we split up the group the following day. Some people went to the Lamborghini Museum, some people went to the Ferrari Museum, and then we all met up for lunch with Valentino Balboni next to Lamborghini. From there, we went to the Pagani factory. So we did a tour of the Pagani factory. And after that, we drove to Venice. Venice is a floating city, as you know. It's built on like sticks sunken in the mud. But that was a very memorable experience. We got in there a little later, took water taxis over to the hotel, had dinner there, some nice lightning storms at night. And the next day, because we got in just before dinner to Venice, everybody sort of just chilled out and got a free day. We gave them a glass blowing experience in the morning if they wanted to go over to the island of Murano. So we got boats bringing everybody over. They saw the glass blowing. And then we came back and people sort of like wandered around Venice. Great little city to wander around, and probably the most memorable city that people experienced over there. And like the whole trip was terrific, but Venice was a crowd favorite and very memorable. Venice gets a tough rap. Like, it sucks, don't go there, and it's not cheap, but like it's no worse than any other city, right? Rome had a lot more garbage in it than Venice did. It's got a charm to it. So like I would never tell people not to go. But I think it's got a bad reputation in America because of the people that don't like it are very vocal about it. But it's one of my favorite like cities to go to in Italy. So there's that. So the following day, we did another dinner in Venice. And the following day, we left to drive up into the Dolomites. This was the end of like the heavy sweating because even Venice wasn't bad because we're on the water. But when we went into the Dolomites, then we're putting on jackets. So it was just a completely different topography. And this is all within a couple hours, right? From Rome to the Dolomites and I've done that drive in a day. Well, that was a long day. We started in Modena, drove Stelvio Pass, filmed back in 2011, went back to Modena for dinner, returned the rental car, took our other rental car and drove down to Rome and flew out the next morning. That was actually a lot of driving. It was like, I think we got into, we were up from like 8 in the morning to 7 in the morning to like almost 24 hours. Cause it's one of those, like everyone's like, yeah, I'll stay awake with you. I'll stay awake. And everyone's out. And that's when I learned that espresso is not enough to keep me awake. And I'm like, screw it. You guys putting your life in my hands. Good luck, everybody. I was that annoyed with everybody. And the rental car was in Noah's name. So I was like, speed cameras? What's a speed camera? Like flashes going off all night. I don't think any of them actually hit the account, but they would go back to Noah. So if he ever goes to Italy and gets arrested, it's mine. My doing. Ads will run shortly for some viewers. I'm just going to keep talking, but it's giving me a heads up that some of you guys are going to get hit with ads. Sorry about that. We went from there to Stelvio. Oh, so we stayed in the Dolomites. We stayed at a place called the Life Hotel Arosea, which is in South Triol, which is like Bolzano, South Triol. It's up towards Austria, like in the Alps, still probably 40 minutes south of the border to get into Austria, but very, very charming, very awesome. It was like it's a natural hotel. So dinner was at the hotel. Everybody was like relaxing. There's spa facilities there, which was a little bit weird for some people. I've done a lot of spas in my life, and European spas are like just people are naked. Like it's the way it is. It's not as weird, but like you have a bunch of Americans there and a bunch of like naked people. And it's weird to be like naked with the other people that you're traveling with because you don't know them. We don't have that culture. So, but a lot of people hung out by the pool outside and everything. But I did saunas, steam rooms, loved it. And that was good. So we went from there, ate there that night. And then the following day, we went to Stelvio Pass, drove Stelvio Pass, and then from Stelvio Pass, went to Lake Como. Lake Como is a lot of fun. I had dinner up there on the rooftop of our hotel overlooking the lake. From there, we went and had drinks at a neighboring hotel, which had like some live music and everything like that. So that was a pretty good vibe. Hold on, what do we got here? Jeff says, "Hey Rob, longtime fan. You eat corn the long way." I'm gonna, yeah, corn the long way. Yeah, I think that's like a question as to whether or not I'm gay. I'm not. Sorry. Or that just could be a interesting way of eating corn. You know how I eat corn, and it was weird, or it's to me it's easy. Take a knife, slice down the sides, and eat like the chunks of them, so you don't get them all stuck in your teeth. Lake Como, we then took a boat out on Lake Como. Directly picked us up right in front of the hotel that day. And then we were like out boating. We had this big giant lunch on the lake a little north of the hotel. Finished lunch. They boated us back to the hotel, jumped in the cars, and we went down to the coast, down to the Genoa, Cinque Terre Peninsula area. Not Portofino, we were north of that. But it was a local area where we were at was Aranzano. And Aranzano, they were having like this big thing in Aranzano that night. And this was the first like, oh crap moment, because we had like 50 people on the trip. And we're driving in. And I like to lead people or like at least like maintain a pace so I can see everybody. But I got a text that the restaurant we were having dinner at, we had restaurant reservations forever, had a plumbing emergency and they had to close the restaurant early. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like this is like a local area. Now we could have gone 20 minutes into Genoa and probably found dining and everything like that, but that would have been a logistical pain in the ass. So there's no real other places to eat. And I'm like, all right, well, we got to go eat something. So we had to arrange that. So I'm like, I'm just going to leave everybody. So I bounced and beat everybody there by a good amount of time. But I was able to source a restaurant. It was actually in our hotel, which was a Michelin guide, recognized by the Michelin guide. They have the little circles for the Michelin guide in like 3 of the last like 6 years. So I was like, you can accommodate us. Let's do it. So we ate in our restaurant there. And luckily it did rain that night. So it was actually more convenient than having to walk in the rain. And then there was a big fireworks display outside because it was the patron saint of something religious. And they were launching fireworks at 11 o'clock. So that was nice. AR Platinum, good to see you, buddy. I recognize that name. Hope all is well. And thank you for joining me live. It was one of those, like, it's been a minute. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I haven't been live in a while. And I could go for a little chill time with Real Living Market CBD. Guys, try them. Good stuff there. You're going to see them on the channel. They're here for a few months, so you'll see them every week. But at the end of the day, fireworks, good time. Last day of driving then was the following day. We were leaving Aranzano, driving down the coast, stopping in Tuscany again. I was going to do another vineyard, but the vineyards were off route. So we ended up going to the another restaurant, which I found like a week prior because we're going to Castello Bonfi. No, not Bonfi. Something. It was one of the castles. But it was like 30 minutes off route, 30 minutes back. And it was like a 6-hour driving day, which is the most driving of the whole trip. So I was like, I'll just stay on route. Found another place. Probably my favorite restaurant we went to the entire time. It was like a Michelin restaurant, best raviolis I've ever had. Everybody's getting these like giant steaks, but that place was phenomenal. From there, we bombed back into Rome, had dinner outside, right around the corner from the hotel when we got back. So I didn't want to run into the situation where we had a long walk because Rome was once again hot. but we really enjoyed that. It was a great trip. There's that, and then like one small hiccup where there was a miscommunication between me and one of the guys working the trip. But they put half the people on like the public water shuttle versus the water taxis. They still got there. It just took them an extra like 10 minutes in Venice. So very well done. It was our largest group. Um, no, it's CBD. There's no THC. It's just CBD. So like it's um, not designed to get you high, just make you feel good. The what else? So now I've got the two trips left this year. One is not announced. One was for McLaren. One of the dealerships up here was going to do a private McLaren drive, but I don't know if that's actually happening on the dates that they say. So I may do a little Hershey trip locally. So if you're interested in a Hershey trip, you can shoot me an email. Just a one-nighter from like the New York City area to Hershey with some stops along the way. Night out at Hershey, dinners, drinks, all that fun stuff. So if you're looking for a nice early November trip, that's for you. If you want to join us in Napa, there's still like 4 spots that I'm trying to fill, and that's coming up in like a month. Not even a month. It's September 20th to 24th. We're staying at the Silverado Resort in Napa for 2 nights, and we're doing the first night you get there, dinner, registration, all that stuff. Second day, we have a morning drive up to the coast through the redwoods. Great drive. Everybody's going to love that. We come back, we do some wine tasting, then we do dinner. The following day, we drive through Yosemite and stop in Yosemite Village, check out some waterfalls and some fun stuff, or Yosemite Valley. And then we go to Mammoth Lakes. From Mammoth Lakes, bomb down to Vegas with some great driving roads. That's one of my favorite driving roads because it's something that people don't really even know, but it's a road outside of Yosemite between that and Nevada. So great times. We've got, let's see what else. So we've got those trips. Next year, we're doing a trip to Monaco in the spring. So that's going to be like a 5-night trip. And it's all going to be local. I think that one's not going to be as, I'm still in the planning phase of that. I've got the dates of like April 30th to like May 4th or May 5th. But that will not require a car the whole time. We'll probably do like 2 driving days and some activity days and just some chill time in Monaco. Like Monaco, Saint-Tropez is all right in that space. Probably take a chopper over to Saint-Tropez or something cool like that. But that should be a great time. The summer trip next year is going to be good. We're starting in Denver or Vail or Breckenridge. I got to see which hotel we're physically starting at, but you're going to be flying into Denver, and it's going to be like two night stops on the way to Sedona, which will be 2 nights at the end of the trip as well. So that's going to cover some great Green Mountain driving in Colorado, and you'll do Aspen Telluride, stuff like that. Maybe Pikes Peak. I got to see if we're going to incorporate that into the route. And then you've got Monument Valley, you've got Arches National Park, you've got Horseshoe Bend, you've got Lower Antelope Canyon, and then Sedona and the Grand Canyon. So like, there's going to be a whole bunch of photo spots on that trip. So that's going to be a good time. And then the fall trip we're going to be doing from Charleston, South Carolina, and that's going to end up in Virginia at Washington, D.C. So it'll go up through like the Blue Ridge Parkway and the Smoky Mountain Range, up through the White Sulphur Springs area, Hot Springs in Virginia and West Virginia, bring you right back over to where you belong, right on the coast. And that'll be a lot of people that our customers are from the tri-state area or Atlanta area. So it's like really convenient for the East Coasters. Less convenient for the West Coasters if you're bringing a car, but obviously, like if it's something that's that short, I may even be able to rent cars for that one. But like even now, because I've got so many things going on in the West Coast, I may even like leave one of my cars out on the West Coast for like 6 months or like a year, whatever. Just because I have enough extra cars, I don't need to keep all these cars floating around. But I've got when I go out there, I've got SEMA coming up after that. So after I finish the adventure drives in Napa, I come home. I'm home for whatever, like a week. I go to Scotland for a couple of days for my brother-in-law's 40th birthday party. I'm taking him to Scotland. I'm going from there to uh, October. This is still October. I've got the drive for McLaren, should be the 21st weekend. After that, I've got the SEMA trip. So I'll leave my car out there. It'll be there for SEMA. After the SEMA, I'm going to go do just a Utah drive with another one of my buddies. So we may take one car together, maybe more than two of us. So who knows? We may need multiple cars. He's got like 50 cars, so it doesn't really matter. It's not the Stradman. He lives out there, but it's not what I'm talking about. Then so like that, if I keep my car there, then I'll just leave my car there because it'll also be there for the summer drive the next year. But after that, I come back from that trip and then I'm going to Puerto Rico and there's a Ritz-Carlton yacht. They make their own yachts now. And I've never been a cruise ship guy, but I said, you know what? Let me give that a shot. And let me try out the Ritz-Carlton Cruise Line. Now you can go type it in, look up Ritz-Carlton Cruise Line. It's not cheap, but if there's ever going to be an experience on a boat that I'm going to enjoy, other than like chartering a private yacht, which is like $50,000 to $150,000 a week, which I think it has like 10 or 15 people fit on it. So it's pretty much the same price that we're spending for all of us to go on the yacht anyway. You just don't need to get 15 people together all coughing up the same dough. This is costing us about 10 grand a person, 10 grand a couple for 5 nights. We're going to St. Bart's for 2 nights. Then I think St. Kitts and one more, St. John maybe. So that should be a good time. So I go from there. My wife and I are then splitting. She's going directly to Miami and I'm flying back here for the night, picking up my kids. And then the next morning flying them down to Miami. And then we have a wedding down in Miami. And I like 99% sure that's going to cap my traveling for the year. I don't think I'm going to want to go anywhere after that. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. When am I taking bookings for the East Coast trip? That's an excellent question. Just shoot me an email, rob@adventuredrives.com, and tell me which trip you're talking about, and I'll let you know when we're opening those up. How do you think about fuel stops pre-planned? So I'll talk about fuel stops in a second on these trips because logistics are complicated. And some people are just bad planners. Like some people will show up to the starting line on day one and they'll have like an eighth of a tank. And you'll start pulling out of wherever you're starting and everyone's like, oh, let's go drive. Somebody's like, yo, we need gas. It's like you're going on a road trip. Like you just pull into your destination on empty and now everybody's got to wait for you to get gas. We'll get into that, but that's pretty much caps off my travel schedule for the year and why I may leave a car out west. If I do, I'd probably leave with James, the Stradman. He's probably got the capacity in his garage, and I think he had another NSX. If I ship the NSX out, I think I'd probably ship the NSX before I would ship the Ferrari, because I enjoy keeping the Ferrari local. And the F8, as I said, is going to go. The 360 is going to go. And then the one Supra is going to go. I really wish I could drive my Supra, like my new twin turbo Supra, like the big twins. That would be great if it was reliable and pump gas at like 750 wheel horsepower and never had problems. It just, when I do my trips, I can't really break down. Snooze that. I can't really break down on the trips. It's not very helpful for me to like be stuck on the side of the road when everyone's trying to follow me. So I got to drive something reliable, like a Ferrari or an Acura NSX or something along those lines. A GT3 is always a fun one. So we'll see how that goes. So how do we do? Oh, that's stupid. I love stupid jokes. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you and your wife are splitting. That's what you got out of that? That she's going to Miami. I'm going to pick up the kids and meet her in Miami. So we're splitting. Let's see. The fuel stops on the trip. Most days are split up. Like we never really have more than 3 hours of driving in at one point in time. So if you start with a full tank, right, like if you fill up on your way in, and it's not like a rally where you're trying to win. So there's no like prize for getting there first. So a lot of people, as they're pulling in somewhere, they'll just gas up. Or maybe if they're driving to dinner, they'll fill up on the way back from dinner. I mean, that's a very common thing. Otherwise, like maybe they'll go have lunch and then they'll fill up before they leave for the second half of the day. So there's really not a tremendous amount of driving where like trying to sort out fuel stops is really an issue. It's just sort of the unprepared that are like, or people are driving McLarens or something to get 2 miles to the gallon, end up running into fuel issues. Like heartburn today. I said lasagna for dinner and excellent rigatoni with meat sauce. Let's see. How do I commit insurance fraud? Nice one. Nice. Good stuff. You never drive the student driver vet anywhere? I would drive the student driver vet. That right now is at Felix Medina Racing. And he was just fixing a misfire in it. And I had it down at the racetrack. I was down at New Jersey Motorsports Park. And that was frustrating because it like crapped out on the first lap. And it was something that we should have been aware of because they've replaced this oil pressure sensor or sender like 3 times. And they just thought they had a string of bad ones. It's just probably the location that just makes so much oil pressure, which is not internal to the motor. It's the oiling system. They just did a dry sump system on it. So it was causing that to blow out, leak on the exhaust smoke. That's obviously, it's not a condition you continue operating in. So hopefully we've relocated that and we've addressed and solved that problem. And then while it's there, I asked him to add a fuel gauge because I don't have a fuel gauge. So I was like, hook something up so that I can like tell how much fuel is in my car. It's important. But you'll see that. You'll see the Evo is on the list of stuff to get taken care of. As I said, as soon as Mo is done, and it should have been done like soon. He said by the end of the month with my Supra and on high boost and ready to go and fresh engine and all that fun stuff. So as soon as we get that out the door, we'll be in good shape. And hopefully I get a couple of driving days on that thing. I'll probably daily that just to make sure all the bugs are worked out. Alcohol and carbs don't mix. Yeah, they do. I always drink and eat pasta. That's all I do, really. That was like in my entire Italy trip, actually. I only drank wine one day in Italy. And I don't remember what day that was, but I think I had wine in Florence. But I got properly like knackered up every day at night, slept it off. Didn't work out at all on that trip. On my tempo post I post on my Instagram, like when I'm working out in the mornings, I was pointing out, I'm like, I like a good rule of thumb as you get older, and I'm now 42, going on 43 and just before adventure drives. I like to, at least if I'm going to drink 4 or 5 nights a week, I like to work out 4 or 5 days a week. Like it makes sense to at least work out as much as you anti-workout, which is like party. So it seems to be working. Feeling better than I was when I was not working out. Now I'm sort of back in the swing of things and been on and off for like 2 or 3 months, but now I'm pretty consistent again, 5, 6, 7 days a week even. So we'll get that on the right track, and then hopefully set a goal somewhere. Maybe I'll actually jump over the tennis net next time. But I want to run another half marathon, but at least want to run another 5K somewhere. If I can get under 20 minutes again, that'll be happy. I was as low as 18 and a half. That was back in high school. I'm never going to be back in that range. But now when I ran, like last year, I ran 10 or 12 times all year, but that's bunched up over the course of like 2 months. And I was down to like 7-minute miles for 3 miles. So that's like 21, 22 minutes for a 5K. So if I can run a little bit more than 12 times in the entire year, I'll be able to get that down to 6.5-minute miles. And that's like wherever you want to be, 19 minutes or so, 19 and a half. I like if I'm 1959, 59, I'm happy. Just right under 20. It's just something that's below 20. I'll be in. Are you in a mini bar at the moment? No, it's a full size bar. It's like a it's my whiskey lounge. If you look at my house videos, you'll see I have this Whistle Pig whiskey bar down in my basement, and that's my little chill spot. So I come down here, could say what's up with you guys, have a drink, relax, partake in a apple juice. But yeah, so that's the goal. You give up the actual six pack dreams when you get in your 40s and your 50s because the lifestyle change you have to do eating chicken, like grilled chicken and stuff. They look, I don't know. One day I'm not going to wake up, or I'm not going to see the next day. Don't know when that day is going to be, but I'm going to try to enjoy every day until then. And that goes for hits all too close to home, but it goes for everybody. Like nobody expects like tomorrow. Like, this is my last night. But that's one of those things that I think enjoying life versus like I'm only going to do the weird diet so I can have a six pack and this and that. And that's just harder as you get older. And I don't think it's something that would be as fulfilling. I don't want to be fat. Like I like to be in good shape, but that doesn't require shredding all fat off your waist and everything like that. So I'm gonna find my happy medium. If any of you guys are on the Tempo program, you got to friend me. Like I'm in, it's good you can sort the users because I'm like, how are these guys have so many points? And they gamify it a little bit, like they count reps and everything, and say I'm lifting like whatever I'm lifting. I just say I'm curling dumbbells and I'm curling 25-pound dumbbells. Every time I do it, it's counting 25, 50, 75, 100. So it's counting, and that's how you're doing it by volume. It's doing the volume of weight that you're lifting. And then you see somebody going like 50, 100, 200, and it's like, come on, dude. You're cheating. Like you're not like you can't even go that fast. So when you crop those people off, who I don't even know if that's really a workout at that point in time. If you're there like selecting, like I'm lifting 100-pound dumbbells and you're just going like this with your arms without having dumbbells in it, knock yourself out. But I selected the above 40 group, or the people in their 40s, because you can select by age category and everything. So if you want to only select like runners or only select, so I do against other 40-year-old people, and that seems to be a happy spot for me because now, and like I'm usually in the top 5 or 10 of them, but when I do the with everybody and there's 1,400 people, if I'm in the top 10, I'm like, woohoo, like good workout. But again, it's a cool platform if you're on it. It's a little bit motivating to recognize some other people. So if you're on there and you have a Tempo and you want to add me on there, good stuff. If you're coming on my Napa drive, I believe 2 of the coaches are going to be joining us. So you get to when you like see somebody on the screen and then you see them in real life, that's possible for you because that's me too. So you're going to see me on the screen and then me in real life. I'm the same guy. Just you can actually like put your finger in my whiskey versus like now you can't. Rob, hair looks great for a man in his 60s. Thank you. Yes, 60s has been tough on me, but I'm wearing it well. Talk about your bourbon collection. Hunting, any bottles you're proud of? See, I don't like I've got I got a collection of like even this little guy up here is like $800, but I got it as a gift. And then like Whistle Pig, I've got this row of these things are Whistle Pig 15. They're like $300 a bottle. I just use them as display. I've literally got 6 of them on the front of my Whistle Pig barrel. I've got the Boss Hogs. I've got another 15. I've got 2 Boss Hogs. I've got a good selection. I've got Blue Labels. I've got a bunch of good stuff. But it's not the best way of putting it. it's not. It is for you because like if you're here, you can drink it, but really nothing is off limits. The only bottle that's off limits is I have a bottle of Blue Label over here that my friend Nadia gave me for my 40th birthday, and she engraved it. So I only drink that bottle with her. Now it's going on 3 years, so I probably should get her over here and like 'cause she's here all the time drinking, but we don't drink that bottle. We should probably just sit down here and finish the other half of that before it keeps going that much longer. The um, let's see, but like yeah, like all these bottles, like they may be expensive. They may it is what it is. Like I don't buy bottles because they're expensive. I buy them because they taste good or I've gifted them, and when we have them, we drink them. Like nothing here is display. It's not designed for display. It's designed to be consumed. Rob, do you regret living in New Jersey paying high property taxes? I don't pay high property taxes. Yeah, yeah, and it's not that I'm not. It just I'm not billed high property taxes. My property, which is pretty. I obviously I put it on my Instagram and my YouTube. Was down to like $4,800 a year on the old house, and then I built a new house, and it got reassessed, and I think I'm at like seven now, which a lot of people are like 7 grand for taxes. That's a lot of money. That's in New Jersey, Connecticut, New York. It's pretty common that there's some people paying $40,000 to $60,000 a year for property taxes. There was a house around the corner in New York State, in Palisades, New York, which is fairly close to here. And I was looking, it was like 1.3 million bucks, new construction, acre of land, 4,000 square foot house, very similar to like what I ended up buying and building over here. And I was like, all right, like I will like buy this. And then I looked and the taxes were like 38,000 a year. And I'm like, I don't want to pay $3,000 a month in taxes and then pick up the mortgage, right? Like that's if you buy, even if I put like 300 grand down, right? So I had $1 million mortgage. At the time, it was like $6,000 per million you borrow. So that's $6,000. So that means I'm paying $9,000 a month to live in that house. And I'm like, and then I pay off my mortgage, and then I'm still paying probably $45,000 by then a year, and I'm paying $4,000 a month just in property taxes. So I found this property. I bought this property for 660 or so, 665, something like that. So under 700 grand. And then I mean, at this point in time, probably another 900,000 into it. So I'm 1.5, and I am saying I paid cash for the construction portion of that, but the my mortgage is like less than the taxes would have been on the other house. So instead of having a $10,000 nut every month to live, I'm paying $3,000 a month to live. So I took, and it's more cash up front, but it's also a much better way to go because when this place is paid off, it's going to be $500 a month, and that's a much better. Or even at like with all utilities and property taxes and everything like that. Imagine I'm paying $1,200, $1,500 a month to live in this like gorgeous house and property and swimming pool and garage and everything like that. I rather the higher buy-in and lower long term, because even if I save if I just save $30,000 a year being saved, so I save $30,000 a year for 30 years. It's $900,000 in saved money, which I could have put towards anything else and turned it into significantly more money, gotten enjoyment out of it. That's not just putting it in the taxes. My kids still go to school. I'm not missing out. There's still police that patrol the neighborhood. There's no different. And if anything, my property here will be worth significantly more than the other property because it's got lower taxes. So it was a smart move. This is where I belong. What happened to your construction equipment rental business? I just did an update video on it this week, literally like 2 videos ago. Was the rental business. It's actually performing better than I thought it would. We were shooting for a revenue target for year one, and inside like 3 or 4 months with like all we're this is like a side thing for us. Neither of us, but me and the other guy that I'm doing it with, are really invested heavily in like marketing it. But like I made the 2 YouTube videos on it, and we have a website. And a lot of the traffic that we're getting and a lot of the business that we're getting is people coming and searching for it, finding the website, calling us up and booking, which is the best thing. That means you're filling a void that is otherwise left unfilled. And now we've got 2 units. One is much bigger than the one you saw in my video. You've seen it in the last video. It's a much larger unit, which goes for $2,000 a day versus $500 a day. So that's the economics of that are different. But like if the one machine's too small, somebody gets a bigger machine. The bigger machine's too big, somebody takes a smaller machine. So we're trying to hit them all. It's a cash business, and that like we own the machinery in cash. So we've got no like marketing expense. We have no maintenance expense really. We have no expenses. We just have 2 assets, an insurance policy, which isn't very expensive. The yearly overhead is probably like $1,500 to maintain the website and checkbook and whatever, and the accounting for the year. So if it turns 60, 100 grand a year, and we can scale it, great. If not, we're never really going to lose in that. We can always just sell the equipment. But right now it's going better than anticipated. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, as a family member lives in Fairfield, Connecticut, $33,000 a year. It's tough to say like just property tax like cost for people, because that like you could have a $6 million house, so $33,000 a year is a great deal, or you could have a $300,000 house and you're paying $12,000 a year, so that's not a great deal. That's like proportionally, it's not there. So. Yeah, I don't know. I was just saying what's up to everybody. Still have Safety Moose. My kid has it in his room. Online business or brick and mortar, depends on what you're selling, really. It's just one of those things that it's whatever performs better for what you're doing. Like if I'm selling ice cream, an online business isn't very good for selling ice cream. If you want to be like somewhere it's hot and somewhere there's a lot of foot traffic, then you can sell ice cream. If you have something that's more specific and that's reasonably easy to pack and ship, then online business is the way to go. But yeah, there's your advice for the night. I have a mediation in the morning, so I'm not going to be making this an incredibly late night. It's got a little bit more work to do. I wanted to pop my head over here, say what's up to everybody. I know it's been a minute since I've done live videos, and filling you in on all the stuff I'm doing with the legal cases and the trips that I'm planning, and just everything that's really consuming my time, and the editors that I'm working with that haven't been hitting where I wanted it to hit. So that's explaining or at least justifying a little bit the lack of post volume this year. It's been a little bit lower, but I'm trying to get somebody back on that to get the shorts going, to get the reels going, to get all the stuff sort of back up. And when I have people taking that off my plate, it's easier for me to just carve out 20 or 30 minutes here or there to film and get the videos done. It's harder when it turns into my afternoon to like cut and edit and overlay and then do all that stuff. So I just don't have that much time in the day. But thank you guys all for joining me. I hope you have a good night, and I appreciate you joining. Check out, there's a link in the description for Real Living Market CBD. They've got the rubs and the oils. So if you're a CBD guy, then definitely something you want to check out. And family business. Again, like nothing, you want feel good stuff, support family businesses. It goes a long way. American business, family business. They're just outside of Chicago. They make a great product. And if you like CBD, you should be liking theirs. They support me. And if you support them, you're supporting me. We're all happy. But thank you very much. Appreciate you guys joining tonight. And I will catch you. I don't know when. I'll try to do like a once a month on the lives again. I used to do like every week. That was like COVID, sort of like Whiskey Wednesdays. But that's what got me Whistle Pig, right? Like Whistle Pig came in because they were watching my Whiskey Wednesdays, and I was like, cheers. Now I got a Whistle Pig collection. I'm a connoisseur, and I got a barrel. So without that, it doesn't happen. So thank you guys for joining. I will catch up with you guys. What are we in August now? Maybe middle of September before I go to Napa, or maybe end of September when I get back. Have a good night and be safe out there. Take care.